All right, for more reaction to the budget speech, we're now joined by Black Business Council CEO Kganki Matabane. Mr. Matabane, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Firstly, your reaction to that 0.5 percentage point increase in VAT, which is expected to raise around 28 billion in additional revenue.
Good evening and thank you very much for having us. We don't support any increase in VAT, mainly because it will negatively affect small businesses. Remember, when we are a small business, and most of them are not even registered for VAT, so you can't claim money back. What do you have to do? You have to find a way of then getting that money through increasing prices. And once you increase prices, we're in a very, very competitive environment. And then what happens? You have to compete with big companies that they've got deep pockets, and then we're going to end up having a lot of small businesses closing shop, and that will increase unemployment, because remember, small businesses are creating the bulk of the jobs in South Africa. So we need to find another way, because remember, we've got a problem of income and a problem of expenditure. So we don't have much income in South Africa, but our expenditure is increasing. So we need to find a way of then how do we reduce expenditure, and instead of trying to solve this problem by bringing or increasing VAT in such a way that increase will small businesses, black businesses will be dealing with it for the next 20, 30 years, because once you increase tax, it's very, very difficult to reduce it. So in our view, we need to find another way of increasing expenditure, but also of reducing expenditure, but also increasing income. And then we were hoping that, because we've got a challenge of unemployment, of a challenge of economic growth, the budget will target growth areas. And in our view, and we've been saying this and we've seen it all over the world, if you want to increase the employment in any country, or if you want to grow the economy, you need to come up with support for small business. The minister didn't say anything about small business. We were hoping he will come up with something. But
because the minister and his team, pardon me for interjecting, seem to hold the view that the way to grow the economy is through infrastructure spending. And we heard that 1 trillion will be spent over the next 3 years. You believe that's not enough? They had to support small business, or at least there should have been a line item around supporting small businesses.
Yes, you have to balance the grants that you give on SRD with the supporting small business, because when you support small businesses, that money you stand a chance of getting it back. Unlike the SRD, once the money is gone, it's gone. And then the infrastructure part, we do support that, but we've had this story many times. We've had stories that South Africa is about to become a construction site in Africa, but we've never seen it. So there's no capacity to implement things that were said before. If there was a capacity to implement, even if you implement 30% of what the minister has been saying and the president have been saying, we could be far. But we know, all of us, we know the bulk of that money is going to be returned back to national treasury, because there's no consequence management on people who are promising to do things but they don't do them. So it's important that let's focus on things that we know we do.
But it seems they're growing.
Focusing on slogans.
Pardon me for interjecting there yet again, but just in the interest of time, it seems now they're looking to increase private sector participation. You would have heard today that they stated that the regulations around triple Ps are actually coming into effect on the 1st of June. And these, of course, are meant to reduce the complexities of signing up some of these programs of triple Ps.
Yes, we've made our comments on that. The worry that we have is that government processes are taking too long. So even if the intention is there, next year when we speak about this budget this time, I'm sure there won't be even one project that will have been passed. Because again, there's no will to implement, there's no will to move with speed, and there's no will to hold people to account, because it's not the job of the minister to implement that, but the people who are supposed to be implement that are not going to be held accountable. So we're really, really worried about spending too much time talking and very, very little time on actually implementing what we're talking about.
And then your take on SARS, they want to increase its efficiency there administratively by allocating 3.5 billion this year, an additional 4 billion next year. Your take there?
We support them because the more efficient SARS is, we are going to be able to bring people who are outside the system, who are, for example, doing complex transactions outside the country. When we've got the competent SARS, or we've got SARS that's got capacity, they'll be able to then increase the income of the country by making sure that all the people who are supposed to be contributing to SARS are contributing. But without capacity, that thing may not be able to be done.
All right, Kganki, thank you very much as always for your inputs on the show. That is Black Business Council CEO Kganki Matabane giving us his views. Very interesting perspective there, him saying that the VAT increase will, at the heart of it, affect small businesses because they won't be able, some of them are not VAT registered, so they won't be able to claim back that money. So it's certainly a very interesting take, but we'll continue to bring you reaction to that budget speech of 2025.